We're gonna jump in Mas Grande. I gotta go show you guys a new project. This is kind of ridiculous. Like, I needed another project. Guess what? This one doesn't even run. Check this thing out. I got an '89 Isuzu Trooper RS. This is like one of 800 short wheelbase two-door Isuzu Troopers in the United States. Super cool rig. I've kind of had my eye on these things for years. I've always been an Isuzu guy. This is probably my 5th Isuzu vehicle I've owned. So to have this super rare, really cool two-door version of a Trooper, I'm stoked on it. There's a little backstory on this rig. I bought it actually for a Runs Good project for Motor Trend, which I was going to be a host on this year, but Runs Good and a few other shows got canceled, and now I am the owner of a Trooper and no TV show to put it on. But I do have the Dirthead Shed on YouTube, and we're going to build it here, and it should be really cool. It'll be neat because we aren't going to have to blow through this build like super fast. We should be able to like show what's going on with it, get in depth with it, and then take it on some really cool trips here in the future. So I am working with Onx Off-Road on this build and a few of the videos that are going to be associated with it. Onx is an off-road mapping app, and they've been a really big supporter of the off-road industry for the last few years. I worked on their on the Onx Off-Road Build Challenge last year with Dirt Lifestyle Nate. We built a FJ80 landcruiser, or it was the Lexus version of it. Pretty rad set of videos. If you haven't checked it out, go over and check those out on Onx's YouTube channel. It's pretty rad. It was a good series. This year, I'm not doing the Onx Off-Road Build Challenge. We're just going to do our own build and see where we can take it. So it's going to be cool. We'll be using Onx, probably the build partners that they have for some of the parts that are going to be needed for this because it doesn't run, which we'll get into in a minute. And then we will also take this thing on a pretty epic series of trips, hopefully before the end of this summer. So let's get busy. I was told that this thing should fire up with a battery and gas, but I was also told it wouldn't run very well because it's got a burnt exhaust or intake valve or something. So I guess what we'll start with is busting out the old jump box and a battery and some gas and see if this thing will fire up. Dude, it's like new camera day, new project day, new sponsor on the channel day. Kind of exciting. I had a bunch of anxiety earlier today about all this, and now I'm just stoked. Bring the important stuff over here. What else did I bring? Old battery that came out of the Nissan hardbody. It actually took a charge, so that's cool. I got my jump box, Harbor Freight Special. This thing's been kicking butt in the shop. And my trusty old tool bag. Let's see what we can make happen. I guess we'll start simple. We should open the hood. Ah, look how nice the interior is in this thing. Other than the carpet being missing. This thing is so cool. We'll get around to that. All right. Pop the hood. Let's go see if there's an engine under there. If I remember correct, it is all in there and all intact. And slightly crusty. What a clean old import. This is a 2.6 liter fuel injected rig. We'll get that in place. We'll throw some fuel in it, and we'll see if this thing will crank over. Positive should be towards the front of the rig. Oh, come on, get out from under there. I feel bad I don't know more about this or didn't come over here and work on it, but I wanted to make sure I had My camera all dialed in and the timing was right. I wanted to make sure this Onx deal was sorted out because I knew like as soon as this wasn't going to be on Motor Trend, I was like, this is a perfect vehicle for cruising like back roads, fire roads, mountain passes, all that kind of stuff that the Pacific or Inland Northwest has to offer. So I was like, this is going to be like the ultimate rig for this area. I've got enough trucks on 40s and tons. This one doesn't have to be there. That sounds silly coming from me, but I kind of feel the truth. All right, let's go throw gas in this thing. New gas cap? Come on. The dude that I bought this thing from said that he had it running 2 years ago and then he drained the fuel out of it before he put it back in the sea container. So in theory, it should fire up with fresh gas. We'll find out. Well, maybe if I get this over to the side. Nope, just pouring it all over the side of the car. John's garage came through. Got a funnel. We can probably just go straight to pouring this in there. Oh man. Stoked. I hope you put the drain plug in there. It's not pouring out on the trailer, is it? All right. Not pouring out on the trailer. That bird over there is super excited for us all to be here. That should be good enough for what we're doing. Let's see if turning the ignition on does anything. Now we've got battery and we've got fuel. Let's see if we can hear a fuel pump running. Wipers work. Cruise control, are you kidding me? Turn signals. That should be wipers. I did hear, let's listen for a fuel pump again. I hear it. Let's pump that a couple of times. This thing's fuel injected. That was one of the reasons I wanted this thing. These Isuzus when they're carbureted are kind of junk. But this one is kind of all the sweet spots. It's like a 2.6 fuel injected. And the guy that I got it from switched it out from the composite headlights to the old style round headlights. So it looks older than it is. I think it's rad. Let's check oil real quick. Make sure I don't crank this thing over with no oil in it. Definitely has oil. Yeah, it's full and it looks like new. I guess we're about to find out why this thing's been parked. Let's go crank this thing up and see if it'll fire. We got gas in the tank, oil in the engine, and a battery. Am I missing anything? Here we go. Now I don't have, now I've got nothing. Let's go see if the battery, see what's up with the battery. Maybe the connection's bad there. There we go. We got beeps again. And we got windshield wipers again. All right, let's crank. There we go. Wipers are off. It's cranking. It fired up. It fired up. It has oil pressure. It blew a bunch of smoke out the back, huh? All right. Awesome. 55 pounds of oil pressure. Yay! It's something. I have a feeling it's going to take some work to get this thing to be a really good runner. So we'll get it there. I bought this thing without hearing it run, so this is kind of good. This is good. It definitely runs like crap. See if I can get this thing to idle. Nope. Yes, it ran. Let's go check it out. Stoked. I got a running thing. Seems like power steering works. Transmission, I mean, appears to go into gears. It wasn't 4 high when I was in here earlier. It appears that the transfer case goes into its gears. Stoked. I got a poorly running 1989 Isuzu. All we gotta do is make this thing run really well, and then we can take it on some rad trips. Look at that leather wrapped steering wheel. Lap of luxury right here. I brought the Mazda with me because it has a trailer hitch, and since it has airbags on it, I can like hook up to this and lift or lower it, and then we can pull this thing off the trailer and see if it actually goes forwards and backwards. It definitely doesn't idle. So I'm climbing around under here, and I remember that the previous owner had pulled the brake calipers off the rear to like rebuild them, and they're not installed. So I guess we could probably pull this thing off and just not use the brakes coming off of here and see what we come up with. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not here to play it safe. I'm here to have fun. Let's hook up the Mazda so that the trailer won't just tip over, and then see if we can get this thing off of here and drive it around the yard. Come on, Mazda, put in work. Back about 6 inches. Let's see if I'm on. And nope. Definitely not on. Alright. The old airbag Mazda comes through in a pinch. Let's pull this whole thing forward a little bit, and then I can unload that off the back. It doesn't really want to move. There it goes. I'm sure that wheel and bearing that is all seized up is not happy. Hopefully I left it in gear. I think the clutch hydraulics might be empty. There appears to be some fluid in there. I started it in gear. Stuff doesn't seem very happy. Oh, it's moving. It's not moving very well. Huh. We're moving. That's something. Look at it. It went into first. Woohoo! My thing drives. I bought a driving car. Bought a driving truck thing. Woohoo! That's a relief. I bought a thing that runs. It doesn't run very good, but at least it moves under its own power. That's awesome. I'm stoked on this. I think what I need to do is probably come back tomorrow when John's here and we can actually like throw brake calipers on this thing and check a couple other things and make sure it's good enough to drive to my house. It doesn't have to be in John's field anymore. This is a win. Stoked on this. Look how cool it is. Yes. It's the next day. I've got some tools thrown in here again, and we are gonna head back over to John's place and see if we can get that little Isuzu Trooper to drive to my house today, because I really don't want my neighbors to see me dragging more junk home. Gosh, look at the weird proportions. It's so tall and stubby all at the same time. All right. Oh, I locked it. Of course I did. I don't want anybody stealing this beaut. I think the first step today is going to be getting the rear wheels off this thing so that we can figure out if the brakes are going to go back together. If I remember correctly, the previous owner had started doing brakes on it. Like, I think he started restoring the calipers or rebuilt calipers, or there's new ones in here or something. So let's go ahead and start kind of taking inventory of what I got. I got a rad set of Isuzu Amigo wheels. I've always wanted a set of those, actually. These will likely actually get stripped of their paint and clear coat, so they're just alloy, and then get put on a lowered vehicle because they look bitchin' on like lowered Mazdas and stuff. So here's part of the reason why I bought this, and I paid up for this thing. This was not cheap. I paid 4,500 bucks for this vehicle and it didn't even run. But it's got tons of good parts. Brand new clutch, brand new head, brand new brakes. There's a header. It's in good condition. I felt like since I was getting these things, it sort of warranted the price. It is going to be an absolute boatload of work though, getting this thing roadworthy. Look at that. Brand new rear calipers with pads. Kidding me? This thing's rad. Some sort of air freshener thing. That's gross. Oh my gosh, I'm stoked. Hopefully all this stuff is good. We've got full-blown gasket kit. I was just on Rock Auto last night looking at those. Hopefully head gasket. Awesome. This is great. This is 200 bucks right here. This is a brand new head. That thing's got a receipt that says it was 400 bucks. There's a brand new clutch, pressure plate, flywheel, all that. Gates timing belt kit. Oh my gosh. This is awesome. There's a little bit of moisture in here, but I'm not too worried about it. Water pump, brake hoses, double platinum Denso plugs, come on. This guy wasn't joking. He did buy pretty much everything. All right, I'm geeking out. Look at that header. Let's actually do some work. Time to drag out the floor jack and this piece of wood so that we can use the floor jack. I pulled a bonehead move and I didn't bring jack stands. So we will have to at least just throw the spare tire under here so if it does come down, it doesn't come all the way down to the ground. Check that out. This thing has Old Man Emu leaf springs in the back. Those are like a lift spring, Australian based company, part of ARB. Lift spring. They're actually really nice. The back sits a little high, but I don't know. I'm not going to overthink any of that right now. Let's track down some hardware and throw some calipers on here. As much as the last guy probably wanted to clean and detail everything, I need to just kind of put this thing together. So let's grab the rotor, we'll put a caliper on it, probably pop this brake line off, this hose, and change it out and call this kind of good. Brand new brake rotors, just chilling. Came with the rig. Kidding me? And the guy, oh, the bag almost got away from me. And the guy went through and like fully detailed out, rebuilt whatever these rear calipers. This part might be a pain. Oh, no, he did turn them in far enough. Good work. And I guess this is about it. I got the new hose on. It actually like went on easily. That I didn't even have to fight that hardline nut. All right, let's try this. I went and grabbed a stick from the yard, and this thing's short enough wheelbase. I can kind of bleed these by myself. And it's working good. So fun. I feel like that one's pretty good. Always use the right tool for the job. When you don't have that, use a vice grip. Put the cap on that. Brake fluid is like super corrosive. It'll like eat paint off of stuff. But just basic water seems to wash it off. All right, I'm gonna throw this wheel on and then we'll do the same on the other side, and then I think we're gonna be ready to drive it around the yard and see if it'll make it to my house. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking buying a rig that's kind of parted out, kind of half project status, because you don't know what parts are missing or what parts are half put together, loose. But if you buy a project like that, sometimes you can get a smoking deal. And as long as you're willing to work for it, you end up with a cool rig at the end. Let's see if this is actually ready to go down the road. All right, first road trip in this thing in 12 years. Let's see if it'll get me home. It definitely doesn't run very good. That's all right, we'll fix that. All right, let's go. to the front of the house and say thanks to John for letting me store this thing out here as long as I did. All right, we're gonna see if this works or not. It feels like there's some seriously stuck brakes and a whole bunch of other issues, like it stops running constantly. All right. Oh man, it's got some sort of just crazy drag to it. It's driving absolutely terrible, but it's moving. It's going under its own power. That's a win. These tires are shaking and all over the place. They look cool. The old buckshot mutters look cool, but a bias ply that's been sitting around with weight on it for years is going to be pretty flat spotted and squared. All right, something's not right. We've got brake or clutch smell going on, and then all of my dash lights went on. I think the battery's disconnected and we're just running an alternator. Yeah, we definitely have like a brake caliper or something hanging up. It's pulling hard to the left. Feels like the clutch is slipping pretty bad, and tires are shaking like crazy. Look at the steering wheel. But we're making miles. Oh man, this is a mess. I just got to get it home. Woohoo! It made it. If you listen closely, you can hear this thing boiling over. It did it! We got the Isuzu home to the shop. Now I just have to get inside and make enough space so I can do the head work and all that. This thing is a vehicle. It's pretty cool. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is because my daughter's about to turn 16 and she's gonna start driving the Suzuki a bunch. So I was like, I need something really practical and normal, like this crummy old Isuzu that's, shoot, I don't even know how old it is. It's really old, but it's on the road again. Hasn't been on the road in 12 years. It made it to my house. That's pretty cool. And I've got enough parts to fix this thing. So I'm gonna drag this thing inside. I'm gonna make a little bit of space. We will get this in and we will throw the head on it and a whole bunch of things to try and make it run right. But that's on the next dirt head shed. We're done with this one.